Well, it seems like every step forward is two steps back when it comes to WB and their handling of Superman VIP, going back even to its birth. They're in trouble again.
Whoa!
Now, what we're talking about today is they're being taken to court just a couple months before James Gunn's new Superman reaches theaters or is set to hit theaters. Let's go into the nuance of that. So, if you don't know, Superman was co created by two different estates, both of which have passed on now, and their estates are suing Warner Brothers Discovery, and the lawsuit is attempting to block the release of Superman in certain provinces. So, the estate of Joseph Schuster, one of the co creators, has filed a lawsuit in federal court claiming that they lack the legal rights to distribute the upcoming film in Canada, UK, Ireland, and Australia. Now, why are they specifically pointing out those markets, which are giant markets for what they would expect from the box office? Because it's something that's like British law. The British law system still works there, and so that's their foothold to get into the door. Those copyright reversion laws. And I'm going to let this article explain it more whenever we talk about it. But just as for now, I'm just going to give you a cursory look at it. Basically, every so often, you have to go back to the co creators that originally had the copyright and go back to get their say so, basically, on and re up your contract. So obviously, this isn't the first time that Superman's ownership and the battle over it, because when Jerry Siegel, and Joe Shuster created the character in 38, they sold the rights for 130 bucks, $65 each. But in 1938, that was a lot more money. I mean, not exorbitant amounts of money, and they still got shafted, but they did it to themselves. So when Superman went on to become one of the backbones of the whole DC Comics, one of the most recognizable superheroes in the world still to this day, they struggled financially, spending years fighting for compensation. It also happened in the 70s when it became a public scandal, and DC just kind of granted them annual pensions and official credits. Their names would be on everything, so they get residuals and all kinds of other stuff. They were just trying to keep the peace back then, but that didn't resolve the deeper issue. Who owns the character? And this is where, at first, the first time that I read this article, this is exactly the point where I was just like, you sold off the rights. You sold off the rights. What are we, a bunch of Indian givers? It's nothing like that. You sold them off. Therefore, these people own the rights. However, that might just be American law. Apparently, British common law is a little bit different. And that's what they're fighting for, because they have been fighting for quite a while, multiple times throughout the decades. And they have actually been, I guess, winning, at least securing settlements and court rulings that granted them partial ownership over different aspects of the character. So they have been making headway. I would have just completely brushed this to the side had I not found out that information that they have won trying to do this little stuff before. So here's where we have to go into the international copyright thing and what they're actually suing for. They're not suing to get all rights back. They're just suing that you can't use Superman's likeness or put out anything new about him using that copyrighted name and that trademark and everything like that. You can't use them in certain states because after 25 years, it has to be, they automatically revert whether they've been bought or not. Now, when Schuster died in 92, that means his share of the copyright legally reverted to his estate in 2017. That's 25 years later. Yet they're claiming that they're exploiting the character in these regions without authorization, violating copyright law. And this could actually be huge because these are big markets that they're targeting. So if this goes down as a precedent, I honestly don't know. Would they have to litigate it in American court systems? I mean, I guess they would have to, but it might be multiple different court cases going on where it's upheld in some places and enforced in others, and maybe shot down in others, because you're targeting a lot of markets. While this movie is supposed to be, it kind of needs to be a huge hit worldwide, because this is the jumping off point for if there's going to be a DCU with James Gunn. If this fails, it's all going to fall apart. Just going a little bit further into an official statement, what the lawsuit says, okay, this is saying that the defendants being Warner Bros. Discovery, continue to exploit Superman across these jurisdictions without the Schuster Estate's authorization, including in motion pictures, TV series, and merchandise in direct contravention of these countries' copyright laws. So that might actually be the smoking gun, which could make this lawsuit balloon into a lot more money because basically it's been carte blanche for them, or they at least they've felt that way. Now, apparently, Warner Brothers isn't going to take this lying down. And why should they? Because if they know their rights, then they would. But that's a huge if. That is a huge if. If they know their rights, of obviously they will defend them. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of legality at play, and we don't know what's going to happen yet. We just know that this thing has been started, and they're trying to do it to even block anybody from those countries and provinces and those box office markets from even seeing the film. It shouldn't be released there. Warner Brothers should get no money from that, and then there'll probably be a retroactive part of the claim that goes back over the years they have been abusing it if they are found in the right with putting this lawsuit forward in the first place. And that's a little bit of crazy news because you would think, why did they wait so long? I mean, Superman's been a public persona since what, 1932? Is that when it started? Whenever it first came out, Superman has been in the public eye. Everyone knows about him. His image, his likeness, his merchandise has been used everywhere around the world. Why are they just now waiting before a new movie comes out? I mean, there's lots of different reasons why they're waiting. I mean, legal process takes a long time. But I also think they just might be fed up with things because it's 2025 now. So you've waited 8 years since the rights supposedly were reverted back to you before this lawsuit ever, like, basically comes into the public eye. So I think there's other ulterior motives. Obviously, the original creators are not alive, so it's just their estates handling it. And we've seen how some estates handle some things that we really love, Tolkien's. But if you have anything to say about it, if you know more than me, you probably do, leave it down in the comment section below. We will talk to y'all later, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.